James Carter had always considered himself an ordinary man. He lived in a small town on the outskirts of a bustling city, in a house that had a backyard full of solar panels, a telescope, and more tools than furniture. He liked the quiet, the hum of machines, and the endless night sky above him. Most people thought he was eccentric, maybe a little obsessed with space, but James didn't mind. Space had always been his escape. For 15 years, he had lived a calm life, working as an engineer for a local company and spending his nights exploring the stars. He didn't know that his life was about to change in a way he could never have imagined. It all began on a quiet Friday evening. The sky was unusually clear, with stars sparkling like diamonds scattered across black velvet. James was in his backyard adjusting the lens on his telescope when a sudden streak of light caught his eye. It was not like a meteor or a shooting star. This light moved in a strange, deliberate way, almost as if it was guided. James squinted. The object was descending slowly, and as it came closer, he realized it was a ship, small, sleek, and unlike anything he had ever seen in human technology. Its surface shimmered with a soft metallic glow, reflecting the moonlight in a way that made it seem alive. Before he could react, the ship landed gently on his lawn. The ground barely trembled beneath it, and a soft hum filled the air. James felt a mix of awe and fear. His heart pounded as a door slowly opened on the side of the craft, and then she appeared. She was small, no taller than a child, yet her presence was impossible to ignore. Her skin shimmered faintly in the moonlight, a delicate mix of silver and soft blue. Her hair flowed like liquid light, and her eyes were the most extraordinary. They held a depth of emotion and recognition that struck James to the core. "Human," she said, her voice clear and melodic. "I've come to wed you. I am the little alien girl you saved 15 years ago." James froze. His mind raced. 15 years ago. The memory hit him suddenly, vividly. He had been part of a small rescue mission on a distant planet, far beyond Earth's usual space exploration. He had stumbled upon a young alien child trapped in a collapsed cavern. Against all odds, he had risked his life to save her. Her people had been observing from afar, their technology far more advanced than his own, but they had allowed him to act, and now she had come back. James stepped closer, unsure whether he was dreaming. "Lyra," he whispered. That name felt strange on his tongue after so many years, but it was the only name he could remember from that distant day. The girl nodded, her small hands folded politely in front of her. "I am Lyra. I have grown, but it is still me. 15 years ago you saved my life. Today, I am here to honor that bond. You are the one I have waited for." James shook his head. I don't understand. How did you grow?" Lyra smiled faintly, a mixture of amusement and sadness. "My species ages differently. A few cycles of our time, and a child can become an adult in appearance while still retaining the wisdom of years. I trained, I studied, I prepared. My journey across the stars was long, but I always remembered you. You saved me, and that act of courage shaped my life." James felt his chest tighten. He had always known humans were capable of remarkable things, but he never expected to see the direct result of his actions in such an extraordinary form. He looked at Lyra, truly looked, and saw the combination of innocence, determination, and brilliance in her. She was not just a person. She was a symbol of everything human ingenuity could touch, even across the galaxy. "But why? Why come to me now?" he asked, still trying to make sense of the impossible reality. Lyra's eyes glimmered. "Because 15 years ago you chose to act when others hesitated. You risked yourself for someone who was different, someone in need. That courage, it matters. It echoes across worlds. I have come because the time has come to honor that bond, to continue the connection we began when you showed the true strength of a human heart." James struggled to find words. "Lyra, this is incredible, but I'm just an ordinary man. You've seen worlds, advanced civilizations. How could you possibly choose me?" Lyra stepped closer, and James noticed the faint hum of her presence, almost like a quiet energy radiating from her being. "Because you are human," she said simply. "Humans have something special. You are not the strongest or the fastest, but you have courage, compassion, and creativity. You have the ability to change lives with a single act. You saved me. That is why I chose you." James exhaled slowly, still trying to process everything. "So what now? You've come all this way. What do you expect?" Lyra extended her hand, small but firm. I expect nothing except for you to trust me. There is much to explain, and even more to learn. I have seen worlds you cannot imagine, technologies that defy physics as you know it, and yet, it is your human spirit that has drawn me here. Will you come with me, James? James hesitated, glancing at his backyard, at the quiet town that had always been his home. It seemed impossibly small compared to the vastness of the galaxy. But then he looked at Lyra, remembered the courage that had sparked this moment 15 years ago, and realized that adventure was calling again. This time, personal, immediate, and extraordinary. I'll go, he said finally. Lyra smiled, and in that instant the air seemed to shimmer. The ship's door widened, inviting him in. Inside it was unlike any vehicle James had ever seen. The walls pulsed with soft light, shifting colors as if alive. There were no buttons or levers, only touch-sensitive surfaces that responded to thought and gesture. The ship seemed to understand him, and when he stepped fully inside, James felt a strange calm, as though the universe itself was acknowledging his presence. Lyra guided him to a small seat, though it barely resembled furniture. "Hold on," she said softly. "Our journey begins." Before James could ask another question, the ship lifted silently without sound or vibration. Outside, the earth stretched beneath them, a marble of blues and greens. Stars shimmered beyond the atmosphere, infinite and inviting. James realized that the life he had known was only a fraction of what existed, and now he was a participant in something far greater. Lyra's small hand brushed his as she spoke again. "We will travel across the galaxy. You will meet my people, learn our ways, and see what your actions created. But first, you must understand that humanity is rare. Your courage, your creativity, your compassion, these are what will guide you. And together we will shape the stars." James nodded, feeling a mix of fear and exhilaration. He had never imagined that his quiet life, his small act of kindness, could ripple across the universe. And yet here he was, preparing to step into a reality far beyond his comprehension, alongside the little alien girl whose life he had saved and who had never forgotten him. The ship glided into space, passing planets, asteroids, and distant suns. Lyra explained bits of history, of civilizations, of cosmic events, and James listened, absorbing knowledge at a pace he had never thought possible. He realized that this was more than a journey. It was a lesson, a test, and an opportunity. For 15 years he had lived quietly. Now he was part of something extraordinary, and as he looked at Lyra, he understood that some connections, humanity's touch, kindness and courage, could transcend time, distance, and even the stars themselves. For James Carter, the ordinary man, this was only the beginning. The ship moved silently through the endless sea of stars. James Carter stared out at the cosmos, feeling both awe and confusion. He had spent his life gazing at the night sky, imagining distant worlds and alien life, but nothing had prepared him for this. Every star, every planet, every shimmering nebula seemed alive, and yet it all felt familiar somehow, as if the universe itself had been waiting for him. Lyra stood beside him, her small hand still resting lightly on his. Her eyes reflected the starlight, and she spoke with calm certainty. "James, before we arrive at my world, you need to understand who I am, and why I have come for you." James nodded, eager for answers. "I'm listening." Lyra's voice took on a gentle, almost storytelling tone. "My species is called the Alaris. We are not like humans in lifespan or biology. A child of my kind can grow to full maturity in what you would call a few years, though we measure time differently. But our lives are long, and we learn constantly. We remember everything, every experience, every lesson, every bond. And we never forget those who help us when we are in need." James listened, fascinated. "So 15 years ago, when I saved you, it really mattered to your people?" Lyra nodded. "It mattered more than you could imagine. My civilization watches over the galaxy, sometimes subtly, sometimes openly. We have the power to observe entire worlds, yet we value courage, empathy, and quick thinking above raw strength or technology. When you saved me, you demonstrated qualities that are rare even among my kind. You acted without hesitation, without expectation of reward. That act changed my life." James felt a warm sense of pride, though it was mixed with disbelief. "But I was just doing what anyone would do." "Anyone human, I mean." Lyra tilted her head slightly as if smiling at an innocent remark. "That is exactly what makes humans remarkable. You do not act for recognition, you act for the right reason. That is why I came to you now. Not because I needed to, but because you represent what is best about your species." For a moment, James was silent, absorbing her words. The ship glided past a nearby asteroid field, and he caught glimpses of glowing cities on the rocks, floating settlements, and massive ships moving in precise formation. These are your people?" he asked, his voice trembling slightly. Lyra nodded. "Yes, but what you see is only a small fraction. Our civilization stretches across many systems, each planet and star colony reflecting our culture, our art, and our values. We value knowledge, but we also value courage, kindness, and creativity. Your actions 15 years ago reminded us that humanity is capable of all these things." James felt a shiver run down his spine. He had always believed humans were clever, inventive, and strong in spirit, but he never expected an alien species to acknowledge it so openly. And now here he was, traveling with Lyra, about to meet a civilization far beyond his imagination. "Will they accept me?" he asked, glancing at Lyra with a hint of worry. "I'm human. I'm ordinary compared to them." Lyra's expression softened. "They will test you, of course. My people do not grant trust lightly even to someone I bring. But you will see that your humanity is your strength. It is what allows you to solve problems, think creatively, and adapt in ways even advanced beings cannot predict. You will not fail if you trust yourself and act with integrity." James swallowed hard. "Test me?" Lyra smiled faintly. "Yes, it is tradition. To join our civilization, even as a guest or an honored ally, one must demonstrate courage, wisdom, and compassion. And you, James, will show them all three in ways they cannot imagine." The ship suddenly glided into a massive corridor of energy, stretching across space like a river of light. James felt a mixture of fear and excitement. He had seen simulations, diagrams, and pictures of advanced alien civilizations in books, but this was beyond imagination. Cities floated among asteroids connected by beams of energy that pulsed like lifeblood. Ships moved silently in formation, and creatures of various forms navigated the vast space with elegance. Lyra gestured toward a distant planet, glowing faintly in the starlight. "That is my homeworld, Alara Prime. Soon you will meet my people, see our way of life, and understand what it means to belong to something greater than yourself." James nodded, though his mind was spinning. "I never thought I'd leave Earth, much less travel to another world, meet an alien civilization, and be honored for something I did as a kid." Lyra laughed softly. "Life is full of surprises, James. And the universe has a way of rewarding courage and kindness even if the reward comes years later. You have always been extraordinary, even without knowing it." The ship began its descent, moving through layers of atmosphere that glowed with the light of distant suns. James could see the surface now. Vast cities shimmering with energy, fields of crops growing under protective domes, and machines that moved with precision beyond Earth's understanding. The architecture was elegant, combining beauty with functionality. It was clear that this civilization valued both intelligence and artistry. As they landed, a group of Alaris approached. They were taller than humans, with slender bodies and elongated limbs, their skin reflecting soft shades of silver and blue. Their eyes were intelligent, curious, and full of observation. James felt a pang of nervousness. These were beings of immense knowledge and skill. Would they accept him? Would they see him as the courageous human Lyra described, or as an ordinary man unworthy of their respect? Lyra stepped forward, speaking to the group in a language James could not understand. Yet somehow he could sense the meaning, words of introduction, explanation, and honor. The Alaris looked at James with interest, curiosity, and then something else: respect. One of them, a tall figure with eyes that seemed to glow faintly, stepped forward. "You are the human who saved Lyra," the being said in perfect basic, the universal language for interstellar communication. "We have heard of you. Your actions echo across the years. You are here now, and we will see if you live up to what we have been told." James swallowed hard. I will try," he said honestly. Lyra smiled, her small hand brushing his. "You already have," she whispered. Over the next few hours, James was guided through the city. He saw technologies that defied human imagination, machines that could reconstruct objects from energy, vehicles that moved without friction, and devices that communicated instantly across light years. But what struck him most was not the technology, it was the culture. Every Alaris he met valued kindness, curiosity, and courage. They questioned him not to intimidate, but to understand the human mind. "Why did you act without hesitation?" asked one Alaris scholar. "You could have been harmed, yet you chose to save a child from another species." "Why?" James thought carefully. "Because it was the right thing to do. I couldn't leave someone in danger. I didn't think about what I'd gain or what I'd lose. I just acted." The scholar nodded, clearly impressed. "Humans, remarkable. They act from heart, not from expectation. Lyra's account is accurate." "You are indeed." "Extraordinary." Lyra squeezed his hand. "See? You are already earning their respect." James smiled, a mixture of pride and disbelief. He realized that 15 years ago, he had thought his actions were small, insignificant. But now, he understood that even small acts of courage could ripple across time and space, shaping destinies in ways no one could predict. As the evening approached, the city prepared for a ceremony. Lights shimmered across the skyline, music filled the air, and the Alaris gathered to witness a tradition of honor. Lyra whispered to James, "This ceremony will show you how deeply your actions impacted my people. You will see that humanity, though young in the galaxy, has power beyond measure when combined with courage and compassion." James nodded, his heart pounding. He had come to Alara Prime expecting questions, perhaps skepticism, maybe even doubt. Instead, he found admiration, curiosity, and a profound sense of belonging. For the first time in his life, he understood that being human was not a limitation, it was a gift. And as the stars shone above, and the Alaris looked upon him with respect, James Carter realized that his journey had only just begun. He was about to step into a world where courage, compassion, and creativity mattered more than power or technology. A world where humanity itself could shine among the stars. James Carter could hardly believe the life he now led. Just a few days ago, he was a man tinkering with a telescope in his backyard. Now he stood on a planet light years from Earth, surrounded by a civilization more advanced than anything he had imagined. And yet, despite all the awe-inspiring sights, one thing weighed heavily on him. He was about to face trials that would test everything about him. Lyra stood beside him, calm and encouraging. "James," she said softly, "my people must be certain that you are worthy of the trust and honor you have been shown. The trials are not meant to harm you. They are designed to measure courage, wisdom, and compassion. You must demonstrate the qualities that brought you here." James nodded, though his stomach twisted nervously. "And what happens if I fail?" Lyra shook her head, smiling gently. "You will not fail if you are true to yourself. Remember, humans are remarkable because you think, adapt, and care. Trust in that." A group of Alaris approached, their forms tall, graceful, and radiant in the evening glow. One stepped forward, a being named Selyan, who would oversee James's trials. "Welcome, human," Selyan said. "These challenges will not be simple. They will test your mind, your body, and your heart. But do not fear, we will guide you if necessary. You must understand the importance of trust, quick thinking, and compassion." James swallowed and followed them into a vast training complex. The walls shimmered with energy fields, and the floors seemed to respond to thought, moving slightly as he stepped. It was as if the building itself were alive, observing him, learning him, and adjusting to his presence. The first trial was mental. James found himself in a large room, walls glowing with shifting patterns of light. A voice echoed around him, calm and neutral. "You must solve a problem. Your success will protect a colony under threat. You have limited resources and only minutes to act. Failure could result in disaster." Suddenly, holographic images appeared in the air. A planet under attack by meteors, colonies at risk, and machines that required precise coordination to defend. James's hands moved instinctively, touching panels and adjusting controls. He could feel his mind racing, considering every possible angle. James felt a warmth spread through him. He had never imagined that a single act of courage could have such far-reaching consequences. He bowed his head respectfully. "Thank you, I only did what I thought was right," the elder smiled. "And that is precisely why you are extraordinary. Courage and compassion are rare. They define your species' potential. You have reminded us that humanity, though young among the stars, is capable of greatness." Lyra's small hand rested on James's arm. "See," she said softly, "you already inspire them." The ceremony continued with displays of music and art unique to the Alaris culture. Beings moved gracefully in synchronized formations, their bodies glowing with soft light. Instruments played harmonies that seemed to resonate with the very air, creating a sound that filled both the mind and the heart. James watched in awe, understanding that this celebration was more than a ceremony. It was a demonstration of the values and beauty of an entire civilization. After the performances, Lyra led James to meet her family. Her parents, tall and dignified, greeted him warmly. Though their appearance was alien, skin shimmering with delicate patterns, eyes larger than humans, their expressions radiated kindness. Her father spoke first. "James Carter, we have heard of your bravery and wisdom. You have acted with the qualities that define our values: courage, compassion, and ingenuity. Our daughter is fortunate to have been saved by you, and we are honored to welcome you as a guest among us." James bowed deeply. "It is my honor. Your daughter has been my guide, my companion, and my inspiration. I am grateful to meet you and to witness the world she has grown in." Lyra's mother smiled, her voice gentle. "We have followed her story, and now we see that she has chosen wisely. Your humanity, James, is remarkable. You have not only saved her, but you have shown the potential of your entire species." James felt a deep sense of humility. 15 years ago he had acted out of instinct, not thinking of recognition or reward. Yet here he was, celebrated for courage that had seemed ordinary to him. He realized that even simple actions could ripple across the universe, creating connections and inspiring civilizations. The Council of Elders then approached, a group of beings representing wisdom, knowledge, and leadership. They spoke in unison. "James Carter, you have passed the trials of intellect, courage, and compassion. You have demonstrated the qualities that make humanity extraordinary. You are a symbol of hope, not only to Lyra but to all who witness your actions. Today you are recognized as a bridge between worlds, a reminder that even the smallest act of kindness can shape the stars." James felt his chest swell with emotion. He had never expected such honor, such recognition, and yet he also understood the responsibility it carried. Being celebrated was not just about pride. It was about understanding the weight of one's actions and the potential to influence others. Lyra stepped forward, holding James's hand. "You have not only inspired me," she said, "but you have inspired an entire civilization. You are proof that humanity has power beyond imagination, not through weapons or technology, but through courage, wisdom, and heart. And now together, we will explore what humans can offer to the galaxy." James looked into her eyes and felt a surge of determination. He realized that the journey that had begun with a single act of kindness 15 years ago was far from over. There was much to learn, much to experience, and much to share. The rest of the day was filled with celebrations. Beings of all shapes and forms came forward to greet James, share stories, and exchange knowledge. He learned about Alaris science, art, and philosophy. He marveled at their technologies, machines that could heal wounds instantly, energy devices that created food and water, and transportation systems that moved across planets in moments. Yet, despite all the wonders, what impressed James most was the culture. The Alaris valued integrity, creativity, and compassion above all else. They respected differences, celebrated intelligence, and honored courage in every form. James realized that the galaxy could be full of possibilities if beings of all kinds worked together with such values. As evening approached, Lyra led James to a quiet terrace overlooking the city. The twin suns were setting, casting a golden glow over the crystal spires and reflecting pools. The music of the celebration drifted softly, and James felt a sense of peace he had never known. "You did well today," Lyra said, her voice gentle. "You have shown courage, wisdom, and heart. My people respect you, and I respect you. But remember, this is only the beginning. There is more to learn, more to experience, and more to protect. The galaxy is vast, and your humanity will be needed in ways you cannot yet imagine." James nodded. "I understand. I never thought I'd be part of something this grand. 15 years ago, I just saved you because it felt right. Now, I see that it mattered in ways I could never have imagined." Lyra smiled. "It mattered because you acted with integrity. That is what defines humans, James. You are proof that even ordinary beings can achieve extraordinary things when they act with courage and heart." As the stars began to shine in the twin skies above, James felt a new sense of purpose. He was no longer just a man from a small town on Earth. He was part of something greater, a civilization that valued courage, wisdom, and compassion. and a universe that recognized the potential of humanity. And as he looked at Lyra, standing beside him with eyes full of admiration and trust, James Carter understood that his journey was far from over. The celebration was not just a recognition of past actions. It was a beginning of exploration, discovery, and the chance to prove that humans, though young among the stars, could shine brightly and leave a lasting mark on the galaxy. He took a deep breath, feeling the warmth of the evening air and the weight of the responsibility now resting on his shoulders. For the first time, James realized that being human was not a limitation. It was a gift. And with courage, wisdom, and heart, he could truly help shape the future of the stars. Lyra squeezed his hand gently. "Are you ready for the next step, James?" she asked. He nodded, a confident smile spreading across his face. "I am ready. Let's see what humans can do among the stars." With that, the city around them seemed to glow brighter, as if acknowledging the union of courage, compassion, and human potential. James Carter, the ordinary man, had become part of something extraordinary, and the universe would never be the same. The journey back to Earth was quiet, but full of anticipation. James Carter sat beside Lyra in the sleek Alaris ship, watching the stars streak past in soft trails of light. Unlike the chaotic space battles he had only seen in simulations, this travel felt calm, almost serene. Yet beneath the peace, James knew the journey ahead would bring responsibilities far greater than anything he had faced before. Lyra turned to him, her eyes reflecting the passing stars. "James, our return to Earth is not just a visit. Your world is part of the galaxy's larger network, and humans are now recognized as a species with great potential. You will help bridge Earth and the civilizations beyond." James leaned back, trying to absorb the enormity of her words. "So humans are special now? Because of me?" Lyra shook her head gently. "Not just because of you, but because of what you represent. Courage, creativity, and compassion are what make humans valuable. You demonstrated that even an ordinary human can make choices that shape worlds. That is why my people trust you." Unlike any simulation he had ever seen, this was interactive and unpredictable. The meteors changed trajectory, energy sources fluctuated, and the defense systems required both logic and creativity. James paused, took a deep breath, and relied on his human intuition. He noticed a pattern in the meteor showers, something the simulation had not accounted for. By predicting the pattern, he redirected the defense systems just in time. The holographic crisis ended. The lights dimmed and a voice spoke again. "You acted with observation, creativity, and courage." "Well done." James exhaled, feeling a surge of relief. The trial had been mental, yet it also tested his ability to remain calm under pressure. Lyra appeared beside him, her small hand brushing his shoulder. "See," she said, "you already impressed them. This is only the beginning." Next came the physical trial. James was led into a large chamber filled with platforms, beams, and floating obstacles. Gravity shifted in unpredictable ways, and energy fields created barriers that moved in patterns. He was told to retrieve a device at the far end of the room without triggering alarms or harming the automated guardians patrolling the area. James hesitated at first, studying the environment. Then, recalling years of climbing, tinkering, and problem-solving, he began. He jumped, balanced, and moved carefully, his mind calculating each step. When a barrier moved unexpectedly, he reacted instinctively, adjusting his course mid-air. Halfway through, a guardian robot approached, sensing his presence. James froze, then remembered Lyra's words, "Trust yourself and act with integrity." He reached into his pocket and pulled out a small device he had found earlier. Using it, he emitted a soft pulse that gently deactivated the guardian, allowing him to continue without harming it. At the far end, he retrieved the device and returned it to the starting point. The trial ended and the chamber glowed in approval. James realized that the Alaris were testing not just physical ability, but creativity, compassion, and restraint. He had succeeded by thinking like a human, not a machine. Finally came the most important trial, the test of compassion. James was led into a chamber where he saw holographic images of beings in distress. Some were Alaris, some were alien species he did not recognize, and some were simulations of humans. Each situation required him to make choices: who to help first, how to allocate limited resources, and how to prevent loss without causing harm elsewhere. Time ticked rapidly. The scenarios became increasingly complex. forcing him to prioritize, improvise, and remain calm. James felt his heart race as he made each decision. He realized that what mattered was not speed alone, but the thoughtfulness behind every action. One scenario stood out. A small alien child was trapped in a collapsing building while another structure held adults in danger. James paused. He could save the child immediately, but the adults would suffer. Then he remembered the lesson that had brought Lyra to him, the courage to act without selfishness, and the creativity to find a solution. He noticed a nearby device that could stabilize the collapsing structure temporarily. Using it, he secured the building long enough to rescue everyone safely. The simulation ended, and a soft light bathed the chamber. "You have passed," Selyan said, his voice echoing. "Your choices reflect courage, wisdom, and compassion. You have demonstrated what it means to act with a human heart. Few beings, even among advanced species, could achieve this balance." James exhaled, overwhelmed by relief and pride. He looked at Lyra, who smiled with quiet admiration. "I never doubted you," she said. "But now they see it too. You truly are extraordinary." After the trials, James was given a moment to rest. He sat on a floating platform overlooking the city, watching the lights and activity below. Lyra joined him, her presence comforting and warm. "You did well," she said softly. "You faced challenges unlike any human could encounter on Earth, yet you succeeded. This is only the beginning. There are other lessons, other experiences, and other responsibilities. But I wanted you to see that your humanity is a gift, not a limitation." James nodded, still absorbing everything. I never thought of myself as extraordinary," he admitted. "I was just doing what felt right." "That is why you are extraordinary," Lyra said simply. "Courage and kindness are rare, even among the most advanced beings. You acted from your heart, and that is what matters. That is why I chose you." As they looked out over the city, James noticed other humans in holographic records displayed around the platform. They were explorers, thinkers, inventors, and heroes. Lyra explained that these humans were being observed across the galaxy, their actions inspiring beings on distant worlds. "Humans have potential beyond what they know," she said. "Your species is young, yet capable of changing the course of entire civilizations. You are living proof of that." James felt a mix of pride and humility. He had thought he was ordinary. Yet the universe had shown him that his choices, his courage, and his compassion had significance far beyond Earth. He realized that even a single act, done with care and courage, could echo across stars and generations. That evening, the city celebrated the conclusion of his trials. Beings from across Alara Prime gathered to honor him. Lyra's people danced, sang, and shared stories of courage and discovery. James felt both nervous and amazed. He was a human among the stars, recognized not for strength or wealth, but for his heart, mind, and actions. Lyra leaned closer. "Tomorrow," she said, "you will meet my family and the Council of Elders. They will formally welcome you and explain the responsibilities of joining our civilization. For now, rest. You have done what few beings in the galaxy could achieve." James nodded, feeling exhaustion mixed with exhilaration. He realized that his life had changed forever. 15 years ago, he had saved a little girl. Now that act had brought him to a world of wonder, tests, and revelations. He understood that the universe was vast, full of challenges, and yet full of opportunities for those willing to act with courage and compassion. As he drifted to sleep, he felt Lyra's hand in his. The soft warmth reminded him that no matter how far he traveled, no matter what trials he faced, the bond they shared, formed by trust, courage, and care, would guide him. For James Carter, the ordinary man, the extraordinary journey had only just begun. The day of the ceremony arrived with a brilliance that James Carter had never imagined. The city of Alara Prime shimmered under twin suns, casting long, gentle shadows across the elegant architecture. Towering spires of crystal-like metal reflected light like 1,000 rainbows, and streets teemed with beings from countless worlds. It was a celebration unlike anything James had ever witnessed, and he felt both awed and nervous. Lyra guided him through the streets, her small hand still resting on his. "Today," she said softly, "you will meet my family and the Council of Elders. They will honor you for your courage and compassion, and you will learn more about the responsibilities that come with being welcomed into our civilization." James swallowed hard, trying to steady his nerves. Though he had passed the trials, meeting the leaders of a highly advanced alien species was intimidating. He reminded himself of the lessons he had learned during the challenges: to stay calm, trust his instincts, and act with honesty and compassion. As they approached the central plaza, James could see a grand stage floating above a reflecting pool, with intricate patterns of light dancing on its surface. The crowd of aliens was immense, their forms elegant and diverse. Some had skin that shimmered like polished metal. Others had delicate wings that fluttered in the wind, and still others had luminous eyes that glowed faintly. Despite their differences, they shared a look of anticipation, curiosity, and respect. Lyra whispered, "They are waiting to honor you. You are the first human to be celebrated in this way among the Alaris. Remember, James, courage and kindness matter more than anything." James nodded, feeling a mix of pride and humility. "I'll do my best," he replied, though his voice betrayed his nervousness. The moment they stepped onto the stage, a hush fell over the crowd. A tall Alaris elder approached, his presence commanding yet gentle. His skin reflected the golden light of the suns, and his eyes held the depth of centuries. "James Carter," he said in a voice that resonated across the plaza, "you have come far and proven yourself worthy. 15 years ago, you saved a life that shaped our civilization in ways few humans could understand. Today we honor you and we welcome you among the Alaris as a friend, a guide, and an example of human excellence." James exhaled slowly, feeling both pride and responsibility. 15 years ago, he had simply saved a small alien child on a distant planet. He had never imagined that a single act could lead to interstellar recognition. Trials, celebrations, and now, a role in the galaxy. The ship glided closer to Earth, and the familiar blue and green planet filled the viewport. Cities sparkled, oceans shimmered, and the continent stretched endlessly beneath the clouds. James felt a sudden mix of nostalgia and urgency. Earth was home, yet now it seemed part of something much larger. Lyra's hand rested lightly on his. "You will show your people what humans can do," she said. "They will see that courage and creativity are not limited to advanced civilizations. They are universal, and Earth has much to contribute." When they landed in a quiet, remote area on Earth, James stepped out, breathing in the familiar air. It smelled of grass, soil, and something unmistakably human. Lyra followed, her small form radiant in the sunlight, a stark reminder that the extraordinary could exist alongside the ordinary. James looked at her and smiled. "It feels strange being back," Lyra nodded. "It is strange because you are no longer just a human on Earth. You are a human among the stars. And now your people will see what you already know. Humans are extraordinary." Over the next several days, James introduced Lyra to Earth in a careful, cautious way. They traveled to places of natural beauty, shared knowledge of the galaxy, and spoke with trusted scientists and leaders. While Lyra remained hidden from the public eye, the small circle of humans James trusted began to understand that their species had a larger role to play in the galaxy. Lyra explained advanced concepts carefully, showing humans how to approach problems with creativity and compassion. James acted as a bridge between worlds, translating ideas in a way that humans could understand while maintaining respect for Alaris culture. One evening, James and Lyra sat atop a hill overlooking a quiet valley. The sun was setting, casting golden light across the horizon. "James," Lyra said softly, "humans have power beyond what they know. You have shown them courage, wisdom, and heart. But this is only the beginning. There are challenges ahead, threats that cannot be solved by technology alone. The universe is vast, and humanity must learn to act with integrity and courage." James nodded, feeling the weight of responsibility. "I understand. I always thought saving you was just a single act. Now I see it started something much bigger." Lyra smiled. "Yes, your actions ripple across time and space. And now together, we can help humans realize their potential." In the following weeks, James and Lyra worked tirelessly. They shared knowledge, taught strategies for peaceful collaboration, and inspired humans to embrace curiosity and exploration. Slowly, humanity began to recognize its place in the galaxy. But Lyra also reminded James that challenges were inevitable. Not every species will understand humanity immediately. Some may test you, others may doubt you. But humans have a unique gift: the ability to think, adapt, and act with courage and compassion. Remember that, and you will succeed. James took her words to heart. He realized that heroism was not about strength or power. It was about character, empathy, and quick thinking. 15 years ago, he had saved Lyra because it was the right thing to do. Now that simple act had shaped the future of his species. One night, as the two gazed at the stars from a quiet hill, Lyra spoke again. "James, humans are capable of extraordinary things. You have seen it in yourself. You have seen it in what we call courage, and now you will help others see it too. Your species will not only survive but thrive among the stars." James smiled, feeling a sense of purpose he had never known. "I guess humans really are special." Lyra nodded. "Yes, and it is not just strength or intelligence. It is your heart, your mind, your courage to do what is right. That is what the galaxy respects." The months that followed were transformative. James became a teacher, a guide, and a symbol of human potential. With Lyra's help, he inspired explorers, scientists, and thinkers to pursue knowledge and creativity without fear. Humanity began to send missions beyond Earth, not just to explore, but to collaborate with other civilizations, building alliances and learning from the galaxy. Throughout it all, Lyra remained by his side. Together, they demonstrated the value of courage, compassion, and ingenuity. Humans were no longer isolated on a small blue planet. They were part of a larger community that valued integrity and wisdom. And James never forgot the lessons he had learned. Courage was not just about facing danger, it was about acting for the right reason. Compassion was not just about feelings, it was about understanding the needs of others and responding with care. And ingenuity was not just about solving problems, it was about seeing possibilities where others saw obstacles. One evening, as the stars glimmered above Earth, James looked at Lyra and spoke softly. 15 years ago, I saved you. I never imagined it would lead here." Lyra smiled, her eyes reflecting the stars. "And 15 years ago, you created a ripple that changed not only my life but the future of your species. You reminded the galaxy what it means to be human, and now together we will continue to show the universe the power of courage, compassion, and heart." James nodded, feeling a deep sense of fulfillment. He understood that the story was not over. Humanity had only begun to explore its potential. And as he gazed at the night sky, he realized that the stars were not distant and unreachable. They were full of opportunity, connection, and the promise of extraordinary things yet to come. Lyra squeezed his hand gently. "Are you ready for what comes next?" she asked. James smiled, his heart steady and strong. "Yes, let's show them what humans can do." And with that, James Carter, the man who had once been ordinary, became a symbol of human potential. His journey from saving a small alien girl on a distant planet to guiding humanity among the stars was a testament to courage, compassion, and ingenuity. The galaxy would remember him, not for power or technology, but for the qualities that made him human. And humanity, inspired by his example, began to step confidently into a future among the stars, proving that even ordinary beings could achieve extraordinary things. For James and Lyra, and for all of humanity, this was just the beginning. The stars above shone brightly, welcoming humanity to its place among them, and the universe waited to see what humans would do next.